everybody, and welcome back to the Discussions, where we talk movies, music, and everything in between. Today, we got something very special for y'all. But first, as always, I'm your host, Adrian, aka Move Mantis, here with my fantastic co-host.
Hey, I'm Daniel, aka Rated DG13, and we have a guest this time around. I'm very excited to have gotten another one so soon because this is someone I have very much enjoyed for the past almost decade, I think.
Why
don't you introduce yourself?
So I am Just Too Good, Sarah, and I have been doing Lego YouTube videos since 2012, and then I started doing film videos rather recently. I don't remember, it was like around COVID time, and then I took a break, and then I came back. But I also have like a letterbox that I'm even more active on for my film side, and I've been writing my own movie, so I'm very involved in the film world. But my main thing on YouTube is Lego, and I do new Lego reviews, new Lego news, and these strange top 10 lists, like really questioning where Lego pushed itself to limits. So we have top 10 times Lego swore, the most inappropriate Lego sets, poorly timed Lego sets, and those are so much fun to make, honestly. But I do so many different types of videos. I even have like a food channel, various channels and stuff, and so that's that. And it's funny because like back in the day, my minifigure was a mantis. And we have a moved mantis in here,
wow.
Adrian. So there's a mantis link up, but yeah.
It's like it was meant to be.
It was meant to be, yeah.
It's destiny, it's fate.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, I have very much enjoyed your channel. You have prevailed the most out of a lot of Lego reviewers. I remember I really got into Lego reviews around 2013. That was when they were getting a lot more popular. That was when the age of stop motions being the most popular thing were kind of beginning to dwindle as far as kind of being pushed forward as the most viral things on YouTube. And it was all about the Brick Show and Jang Bricks and Just Too Good.
Brick Show. Yeah. Hey.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. It was over a Baby Yoda set or something. They got copy striked, but they live on through an online store, I think. And
they're
they
pretty
do an Instagram video every once in a while.
Pretty notorious with really early leaks and yeah, they were pretty fun. But you have been really interesting, just as far as being really honest about a whole bunch of facets about your life and being
too honest. that was the rise and fall, No, I'm kidding. Don't let the comment sections persuade you. You ruined my childhood all the time is what I see now. So.
Oh my god.
But
I'm so sorry.
I don't care. No, you're good.
But seriously, that's what was so cool about your channel was that you were so much more of an actual person, and I don't think it's a required thing for Lego reviewers. We review toys, for God's sake. It doesn't have to get too serious. But I really feel like you came into your own, especially recently, just out of you could have just been I'll check in every now and then just to get some varied reviews about a Lego set. But I really enjoy your Letterboxd reviews. I think you have a lot of really good honest takes, and I feel the best reviewers are people that I don't agree with all the time, but always have a crystal clear okay, I see exactly where you're coming from, and I'm never oh, you're just not giving this thing a chance just because you're not into kind of more popular stuff as much. You still see a lot of popular stuff, and you push a lot of really good art house stuff, and it's kind of funny because the last guest we had is kind of in the same boat of being they're more of a film channel first, but they also are kind of a big Lego fan in the background, and it's kind of funny both guests that we've gotten so far Lego and film fans who have recommended like a really erotic movie.
Yeah,
wait, what
no,
was
yeah,
the... what was the last movie rec? Now I'm curious.
Y Tu Mama Tambien by Alfonso Cuarón.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. Yeah, I gotta rewatch it. I haven't seen it more than once, but yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's really
cool.
funny.
That's a great movie.
Worked out.
I feel like I cut you off, Adrian. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
No. You're good. I was gonna just say that. Yeah, no, it's funny that these two kind of films, and we'll talk about more later when we actually talk about the recommendation, but they have very heavy focus on sex, just kind of in different ways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah. We'll get to that later though. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think for now we're gonna talk about the Fantastic Four, which we've all seen. I guess I'll start with Sarah. What did you think about it?
The Fantastic Four.
Don't hold back.
I grew up on the original, not the original, I guess. 94 I saw in high school. But I grew up on like the 2005 and I think 2007 movie. And I barely remember that movie, so I'm not sure it stood the test of time, because if it's a movie I saw in my childhood that I don't remember, probably not great. But this recent one, I haven't really been... I mean, I'll diss these Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, but I've watched them all in theaters. I haven't been won over by the MCU since Infinity War and Endgame, because I've seen like literally like 1,000 movies since those movies, it feels like, because I watched so many movies between 2020 to 2025, and I think that's changed my taste so much, because I've seen so many movies that just kind of blend together, and I feel like those Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, a lot of them kind of take the same Hollywood tropes that I'm used to seeing in other movies, and just kind of do them without much creative input. So my taste in the Marvel Cinematic Universe has dwindled, and not even Thunderbolts hit with me. My favorite post-Endgame MCU movie would be like Guardians 3. I felt like there was some artistic vision there, and I felt like it was entertaining because it did things different, and it kind of pushed the limits a bit. So Thunderbolts didn't do much for me, and unfortunately Fantastic Four was probably about the same level as Thunderbolts, where I just didn't get much of out of this viewing experience. The positives would be, I like these actors. They have great actors in it, and they deliver fine performances, and I like the set design. But that was about it for things that really worked for me. It was mildly entertaining at points, but also very boring at other points, and really what we just ended up getting was something that didn't have any interesting direction, and honestly the visuals looked crappy, where there was so much noticeable CGI that just did not work. And I felt like the characters were just kind of these paper-thin tropes, and we didn't really get much interesting characterization out of the story and out of how they progressed the characters. And yeah, it was kind of a frustrating experience at times, where there's like so much product placement, and I know it takes place in New York City, but this is an alternate universe. And I think of a movie like Fuck Toys, which I saw recently at the Florida Film Festival. Great name, I know. Awesome movie. Everybody see Fuck Toys when it gets on digital. But Fuck Toys has fictional brands inside its weird alternate universe that's like our world, but just slightly weird. And I was like, I kind of wish they just did fictional brands in this world. And not to say there wasn't any, but like for the most part, it's just like, oh, ABC because Disney owns ABC.
Yeah.
Oh, Pop-Tart because there's Fantastic Four Pop-Tarts. Trust me, I'm a huge foodie. I know. I haven't tried the blue raspberry Fantastic Four Pop-Tarts. But Pop-Tarts were in there. Little Caesar, because there's the Little Caesar Fantastic 4-in-1 pizza, which I did try. It was decent, but they forgot the jalapenos. It's very evident in what they're trying to do, and that was annoying. And I know that's a small thing, whatever. And then, like I said, I wish this was more of an interesting viewing experience. People were pointing out the score, and honestly, the score I freaking have forgotten since I've seen it. I don't remember anything about the score. It did not work for me. I just remember the trailer. They were like, Fantastic Four. Exactly. And I remember that from the trailer. I don't even know if that was in the movie. I don't know. But yeah. And then it's like we have a very limited makeup of locations. For a big budget movie like this, I would at least want some different locations to just, I guess, the Baxter building. I don't know. Is that the building they're in?
Yeah.
And then space, boring space, which isn't even playing into the retrofuturism set design. So yeah, I was really bored by this movie, honestly, even though I guess it wasn't the most boring big budget Hollywood movie I've seen all year, but I really wanted something more, and I didn't really expect something more, so I guess it did pass my expectations. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little inclined to agree, because it started out and I was willing to, I kind of have to like just let go of the idea of these kind of like third, fourth, fifth iterations of popular superhero characters getting an origin story like ever again. I was willing to just be like, all right, it's gonna feel a little bit like dropped in as far as like a story goes. It's gonna be like a comic book run where it's like you get the gist and you're just supposed to like go along with this world. That's fine. But like I regrettably I think the movie has this kind of it was reminding me of this clip from like The Bear where it's like, don't stop making fucking sandwiches, where it's like you gotta go like you don't
Yeah.
like everyone complains about like the over 2 hour like pacing, just like keep cutting to the interesting stuff. But it's like if you keep skipping like build up to those really big moments, then like it just kind of feels hollow, even though like it's not necessarily uneventful. It's just like so like we got to move this along. It felt so like sequel-litis kind of feeling I got from it, where it was like, okay, now that we've like gotten the the origin out of the way, we can kind of just like have another adventure, and that's okay. But like in this case, it was just like you kind of already have to like Fantastic Four as a concept to really like love it. And I mean, I really like these characters. I just watched the 2000s one. Those are like super nostalgic for me. They're like awful, but I just
Yes.
they're so economic with like their like pacing. I feel like for it's a really like weird time capsule, because it's like it's not your typical structure for a superhero movie where it's like, okay, they get to the the origin like pretty quickly, like right out the gate, which I think is like super well done, especially for like a movie more aimed towards kids. I feel like it has like age 2000s like isms, and it's still PG-13, but I respect it for like going a more goofy route when things were like becoming darker at that time. I think it was like perfectly fine tonally, but like it really is just like this. I feel like that movie works well enough as a concept by itself. That's kind of how I view superhero movies nowadays. It's like, does this stand as a movie and not just like as something where it's like, I really want to see my favorite characters in like comic accurate costumes, like
then don't watch Deadpool and Wolverine. I feel like that was like the least movie.
But that was it certainly wasn't the turning point, but that's when I could like fully articulate it, like this just isn't like a movie anymore. and with this one, I would say I respect it a lot more than Captain America 4, where like it's not an aggressive waste of my time.
Oh well, that's a low bar to clear, because
Yeah.
I mean, Cap 4 sucked.
Yeah, it was oh my god. But I will say this, there was stuff to work with in this movie, but like they were just so like paranoid about like they got to listen to all the criticisms at once. You can't let someone really like tell a story that they were kind of excited to tell with like proper build up to anything, because we just kind of have to acknowledge that these characters exist, kind of showcase what they can do, but not necessarily have much character wise going on that's like substantive. And like I think it's a really easy movie to like. I understand why people are getting into it. I don't think it's like frustrating in the sense where it's like I feel like it's not quite at like the hack level of like Deadpool and Wolverine, where it's just like I'm getting 0% out of this. Like, even though I generally get that people just want to see him in the goddamn yellow suit. that's all that movie is for. But there's like stuff here that I really was like, I was willing to like throw myself into, and just like, I wanted to see these different competent takes. I think it's great that like this is the most characterized Susan Storm. Like she's been horribly embarrassing, I think the most out of like all the iterations in movies so far. It was great that she like girl power and all that. She has like a lot more going on, and like, but again, like that stuff with like her being the congresswoman or whatever she's doing, it's like that felt, I really would have liked to see that see that kind of develop on the side in like a first movie, and like see how far it's come since then, and like, oh, the villain that we fought in this first one, it's like we befriended them, that's how good at her job she is, and like that because you've seen it, and it's just kind of a lot of like, it just skipped to all the tail ends of like cutscenes, kind of like, I don't know if that's a good way to put it, but like
that's a good way. No, that is a good way to put it.
Yeah, but what
just
did you
think?
A
lot of telling, no showing, really.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Adrian speak for a bit.
No, I was just listening, and I mean, I have to really agree, and I think I'm the specific person these movies are trying to really get to, because I was just really wanting to like this movie, and post like movie theater, like stepping out, I was really trying to like it. And just the more I thought about it, the more I'm just like, there's really just no substance to a lot of the characters, or really what they were doing. And like I said, I get suckered into all the brands and the tie-ins. Like, it's funny you mentioned the Pop-Tarts. Like, I literally look behind me on my little snack shelf, and I have like the Fantastic Four like Pop-Tarts, which are pretty good.
Wait, you got the blue raspberry ones?
Yes, I do.
Oh my gosh, what are they like? What do they taste like? Because like I can't have blue raspberry flavored things because I just can't have like berries and stuff like that. But what is it good? Like, what is it like?
It tastes like blue, and there are berries in there. And no, there are no berries, but every single one of them had because they come with like a little print on them, But every single one of mine that I've eaten so far have been like crooked or like halfway off of the Pop-Tart. So,
oh no!
But I did get a cool cup from the movie theater I went to, which I'm also drinking out of right now. So suffice to say, I'm a sucker for all that kind of stuff, and I'm a big fan of the Fantastic Four, and I was just so desperate for something good, especially because I saw Fanforstic in the theater when it came out.
Still
with a friend, and just the 10-year drought, and that's all we have previously is like, please God, I just need something. And I was eating up even just like the little bits like they gave us. Like, I do like the suits and kind of the way everything looks and the aesthetics and like the whole 60s thing it's going for, but yeah, that's kind of all you really get, like a nicely dressed up kind of just okay like movie. Because like you said, there's no really individual like character moments. It's really all focused on them as like a team, which I think kind of works. But if you don't have interesting characters making up that team, like, then why should I really care at all?
Yeah, I think it comes down a little bit more to like interesting struggles, because like, I mean, they they're identifiable. They're not like totally like gray goo, like just like action men and women. I think they're identifiable, and like they're getting at they kind of just like brush past these kind of interesting struggles where it's still like, I gotta fix everything. There's kind of a lot of that in superhero movies recently, with like kind of Into the Spider-Verse, Flash a little bit. I think Reed Richards is a good kind of vessel for that kind of arc, and everything just kind of works out with very little resistance. There's action in it, there's a bad guy, but like as far as like plans, like even when they go awry, there's just like the way their relationship is kind of established with the not the audience, the the citizens of the city and all that. It's like, you know, I kind of want to know how they earned that bond with them, where it's like they back them behind like everything, even when there's like a day of controversy, you know, justifiable controversy. It's like they're a-okay by like, you know, by like the speech where it's like, hey, we're all people, you know. It's like, I feel like Superman did a pretty good job showing how he inspires people, you know. Like I feel like even though they skip his origin in that movie, once that story starts and it feels like you kind of miss like the first half of the first act, where it's like, oh, we're kind of in the middle of something, I guess. Okay. As the story progresses, I don't feel like it's really rushed at all. I feel like that, even for having, you know, as much stuff, I kind of consider it a little bit overstuffed for like a first, you know, or like a new iteration of this version of Superman. I think they did a pretty good job balancing all that out in a way that didn't feel like, you know, months were like going by like so quickly. Like that's a huge thing in this movie. It's just like it feels like, what is it, like a whole, it's like, is it a whole year or something? Like so many time jumps happen, and it's like, you know, people are learning things
not
really
only
quickly.
Between like not only between like her getting pregnant and having the kid, but then the jump between them getting back to Earth and having Galactus come. Like, there's a good like maybe year, you could even say maybe even year and a half almost between just this one film run, and they dedicate a good like 30 minutes in the beginning to all just the beginning stuff, like the origin and what they do and why people like them and stuff, when Superman did that in like one title card.
Yeah.
And it was more convincing in Superman. I mean, this is maybe kind of hurt because Superman came out so soon. And I thought that did a great job with the superhero movie format. And, you know, it has, like you said, a lot more character moments. And I think it's way more interestingly directed. And I actually remember parts of the score, you know? So it works on not only on a script level, but it's just technically interesting. The most technically interesting thing in here is, okay, you know, cool set design, but I feel like it was shot poorly, and I feel like, again, visually the CGI was bad and unmemorable score.
Yeah, and I want to kind of give them a pass on the CGI, but not really, because I get it that they have like 6, 7 almost full CGI characters, like the Human Torch whenever he's on fire, the Thing, Galactus, and Silver Surfer, and then, you know, whenever Pedro Pascal like stretches, you know, they have all that. But I mean, this comes from Disney. They're a billion-dollar company. There's kind of no reason for like
post-COVID
like
too.
A baby to look like a very, very CGI like baby, especially like in this moment that's supposed to be this like emotional like connection, and all I can think of was like, man, that baby looks fucking terrible.
That was, I can't believe we were still doing that in like 2025. I thought we were past the one time we did that.
Well, hey, I will say I love Superman, but they did have that like CG alien baby. So,
I was wondering if in Superman they like made it a freaky alien thing, because they were like, oh, well, I mean, at least if it's an alien, if it's uncanny, then like people will forgive it looking weird. But like, and this is just like, I don't want to see him like contorting his face and like, you know, like reacting like someone who understands what the adults are saying. I get the idea is that they're supposed to be super smart, but just like I mean, it's not a. I know that there's like a disconnect. Like it doesn't look like a real baby making that face. So it's like, even with my understanding of the context of like, it's, you know, it's a cosmic super genius baby,
but this is what I was talking about like earlier, was like with the individual characters, like even though they give these little moments, I feel like a lot of that has to come from kind of like what you said earlier, your innate interest in the Fantastic Four. Like you already know, like I know already, oh, that's Franklin Richards that becomes one of the like most powerful people in the Marvel universe. But I think by the, you know, basic just straightforward like Joe Schmo is not gonna really know that.
And I guess kind of when you guys brought up the set design and stuff, that everyone's going crazy about it, and it was reminding me of what was it called, Werewolf by Night, that Marvel thing on Disney Plus. And there's a quote in there that I always think of because it kind of represents like the waste that like happens every single time they try to do something experimental like this, as far as like presentation goes, where it's like someone's like tying a wound and a character goes, you have to do it right or it won't work. And that's just what Werewolf by Night in this movie is. It's like they're going for this retro feel, and it's like, yeah, I mean, that thing is black and white, and you know, it's neat when they kind of do selective color grading and stuff, but like the audio still sounds like a modern thing, the effects still look like a modern thing. Like it kind of loses its charm because like the, you know, people recognize the like kind of poster feeling of those movies, but like you're not really delivering what those movies feel like. And I feel like if there was like a cool film grain on this, if like, because like the color grading itself is like, it's still pretty washed out. Like it still looks like a Marvel movie. It's just set in a more interesting place, like just, you know, at its kind of architecture, but like visually I was still just like kind of, you know, I didn't find anything like striking, even though I could tell that this looks significantly different. And I have to wonder like what keeps them from like doing something that's like, I'm not asking for like Speed Racer, you know, saturation, but like
yeah,
I just have to wonder why, like, you know, what is it, like a time constraint thing? Is it like like are they intentionally making them as like, I don't understand, like why can't they like look interesting, especially now of all times when you want it to like pop out like that. And like just them like walking through the city and stuff, I'm just thinking about, you know, that like one hallway like or like one alleyway kind of set from like Deadpool and Wolverine, where it's just like one of the most obvious sets you've like ever seen. It's just like I don't feel like this is like a, you know, a tangible city that I like, you know, I really can like, you know, sink my eyes and my teeth into because it just looks, it has that Marvel sheen, you know. Yeah, it's kind of a waste of a really good idea. I'm super receptive to this, you know, alternate universe, but I kind of miss the era where like you didn't have to explain like, oh, this is Earth 828, and like, you know, like you have to explain every time like you do a different iteration of like,
I was like okay, nowadays. Like they really put that in there, like okay, like
yeah, it's
that
like,
was kind of I know it's a split second thing, but that was annoying.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's a split second thing, and it's like, again, like average Joe, like what does that mean? Like Earth 828, and then like before you can think about it, it's already out of the shot, and it's just like all right.
Okay.
Like that's a lot of stuff in this movie. It's like, and then they fought monkeys, and then they fought the mole man, and they beat this giant monster, and now they're it's like all this like really cool montage stuff. And I can't say that like, you know, I'm necessarily missing John Malkovich's presence, whatever he was gonna be in this movie. Like if they could cut him out completely and like nothing changed, then I feel like that's a pretty telling thing. You know, I'm sure that what they did cut out was like semi-justified. It's just like, you know, just like barely 15 minutes could have like made all the difference in terms of like just ushering us into this into these characters a little bit more, having like some kind of like, you know, like substantial arc for even just like, you know, one person. Like I guess Silver Surfer has an arc, but that again is just kind of like speed walking what they did last time, pretty much exactly what they did last time. Yeah, what'd you guys think of?
I'm sorry, what was his arc? Was just that he was like, you know, into the girl, and then what?
yeah, both romances. I guess, yeah, like barring Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Women's, but like the whole budding romance between like Human Torch and Silver Surfer, it's just like means to an end, where it's just like that's why he's the only guy taking an interest into like learning the language, figuring out their whole deal.
Yeah, it feels like a plot device. Yeah. Like very.
It's like I don't think you actually care about this person. Like again, previous movie, if you established that he was a womanizer, then I could like buy into it more. But he's too much of a nice guy in this. That it's like I mean that's fine. You know he doesn't have to be as kind of slutty as like Chris Evans, I guess. But like I mean I still found that like funny and like a, you know, kind of scummy, like, you know, aged way, like 2000s, like he's so cool. But like here it's just you know, all words and no, like, you know, I don't really feel that's really his character that much.
I was gonna say,
and they try to do. They try to do the same thing with The Thing, kind of, where he just meets that random kindergarten teacher, and then he has like one other scene where he's like looking lovingly at her, like from his like trench coat and hat, and then he like finally like, I guess gets up the nerve to talk to her, even though he talked to her in like the first scene. And it's like, if they're cutting out like the John Malkovich stuff and all this other things I've heard they like cut from this movie, then what was the point of keeping that in? That's another thing you could like completely cut out, and that would have like almost no effect on the film, because he's probably one of the thing is probably one of the characters that gets most pushed to the side. Really, he doesn't have too much to do. And even the one thing I want him to say, and one thing everyone wants him to say, it's this. Also, this Marvel thing, or just superheroes movies in general, they just like to do, oh, that thing we do in the comics, that's silly. We don't actually do that. I'm actually not like, just say clobbering time, please, God.
Like for a movie, I was like, it was embracing, you know, like the cheesiness at points. Like it seemed like it wanted to, but then like, it's like, oh, we're too cool to say it's clobbering time. We're gonna make a joke about how it's too lame or whatever. And then, yeah, and I was gonna say with the romance with The Thing, I was like, okay, these could be cool character moments, but, you know, like you said, they don't really do anything with it, and it feels like it's something that's cut. And I was so sad because I love Natasha Lyonne, and she was just wasted here, you know?
Yeah.
I was really waiting for something with that. That was like maybe the only solo character moments, and it felt like it didn't have any, like, payoff, because it felt like it was cut out like half of this the second half of this story. So I don't know,
and it's all inference too. Like, you have to remember that like The Thing is an outcast, and he's been the most screwed over from them gaining powers, and like it's a huge part of his you know, his origin, that like he comes to terms with like who he is, and you know, he gains his humanity back, not necessarily as like a personality, but just like as far as like him being respected by the populace. You guys say he's pushed to the side a lot of the time, but like honestly, he's the best part of those, at least the 2000s ones. I think he's the best character. That gets like a really good kind of like focus in those movies. He's definitely the heart of that first one. And here it's just like, movie opens, all of them are like completely respected, kids love him, and like that's cute and all, but like, I mean, the only bit of like that, you know, kind of part of his character, of his insecurities, is just like him looking into his reflection that one time and then deciding not to talk to that girl. But like they got off on the right foot. It's like you know, that's not anything to work off of in the way that it's presented here.
I was like, I thought The Thing in this movie was the most interesting character, and he felt like the only one that wasn't like a plot device, you know, and just wasted.
Even like Pedro Pascal is just, and maybe I'm just burnt out on him, because I saw this, and then I saw Eddington the week before, which he's also in, and I'm just seeing so much with him in it, and to me, he doesn't blend into the character. It's just, that's Pedro Pascal, and he just acts the same as he does in most movies. You know, just acts like, you know, how Pedro Pascal would be, I guess.
He's kind of like, he's a good performer. He's very good at being emotional, but like, I mean, I'm sorry, but he is too much of a goddamn hunk in this. I don't see him as a scientist. I need Mr. Fantastic to be nerdy. I didn't like John Krasinski. I know that everyone wanted him because I guess he has a beard in like recent comics or whatever, but it's just like, they really don't want these guys to stretch. Like Galactus was gonna like tear him apart at like less than like 100 feet or whatever. Like he barely stretches in this in a way that's like satisfying. He's like, you know, I'm remembering like everyone, you know, talks about how like freaky he is Mr. Fantastic in like those 2000s ones where he's like liquefying himself under the door and like, you know, like it turns into like a Pixar hand like every time he stretches. But I totally dig that shit. I love the awkwardness of it. I love the cartooniness of it. And it's emblematic of how like these characters, they're meant to be drawn, they're meant to be animated, and doing stuff like this, sure, it wasn't as like jarring nowadays, you know, with our technology, but it's only because they restrain themselves. And when you do that, he's just not as fun as when you see him use his powers. So
yeah, and I mean, he doesn't need to be like Luffy, you know, he's not doing like the gum pistol or whatever, but like you're right, it needs to be something. And I get that he's more kind of brains than brawn, but like kind of like you were saying, if you look in the comics or any of the cartoons, he's like you said, like liquefying himself, like fitting into like jars, like completely immobilizing people with just his arm. And like you get kind of none of that. You get like slightly stretching when he needs to pull something or get somewhere tall, but other than that, it's like a nerfed kind of Mr. Fantastic.
I guess that that minifigure was more accurate than, you know, we gave it credit for, because that was about as satisfying as a depiction of that as it was in the movie. He'll just sometimes be like a little bit taller. He won't be as fun as those like bendy arms, you know, like those really long ones you can wrap around people and stuff.
Yeah, ain't that right?
Man,
like I said, I really wanted to like this, and there were things that I liked about it, but just it's just a very well polished like cheese pizza. Like it's just okay, really. And the more I think about it, the less I like it. Unlike, not to keep comparing it, but unlike Superman, you know, I see myself seeing that movie again. I do not really see myself seeing this movie again unless it's just like on in my living room or something.
Yeah, I've seen it twice. Superman I've seen twice, you know. I'm never going to watch this again in my life.
Yeah,
and like you said, like it's funny that like it's so based on like colors, and it's very colorful, and they're very like bright blue, and like, you know, the Silver Surfer has a very good like just silver look to them, but then you get to like Galactus and he's just a big black like blob again. And it's like, it sucks too, because I feel like in the promotional art and that fucking dumb popcorn bucket they were selling for like $80, like he's very purple, he very like much stands out, but then you see the movie and he's just like, you have to like squint to like see the little bit of purple that's in there, and it's like kind of like we were saying earlier, like what's the point of that? What's the point of like making everything else colorful, or like some things colorful but other things not, and making him so like saturated looking? And
I mean, you could totally put Galactus in that 2015 version. It would not look out of place.
Yes, like definitely, because everything was so black and dark, and like I guess just comparing it to that, it's a step up, but that's not really saying a whole lot. It like the thing went from wearing no clothes to a bunch of clothes. Like I just don't get why he can't. He's got to be shirtless, man. Come on. Like I gotta see those like rocks and like rock muscles and shit. But like, at least he's not naked in this one.
Yeah. I for some reason I guess I'm like I forgot that like the thing doesn't like turn back to like his human form, so I was like, oh, why is he turning back to his human form? But I was like, oh wait, I'm mistaken. It's been so long since I've seen those other movies that I don't engage with the comics. So yeah, I don't know. Do you give ratings on this show?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And
okay.
we can give ratings now. I'm pretty much that was it really.
Yeah, you want to start us off, Sarah? Last thoughts?
Oh yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 10, like I gave Thunderbolts. And I don't know, I mean, I think I like Thunderbolts more than this, but like Thunderbolts, like the first half was like genuinely frustrating, and then the second half I thought was all right for what it was. This was just kind of like mid throughout for me and got kind of worse by the end. So yeah, 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I would say I kind of agree with Thunderbolts. I liked it a little bit more. It's just like, man, if that movie were made in the 2000s, like that core to the story and stuff, I think that would have been like, if someone were allowed to make an actual movie just like in a vacuum about those kinds of characters, I think that would have been like unexpected classic. Honestly, I think they really had something there, but like they're just, man, they talk so unnaturally in that one, and like it really takes the punch out of like any like raw like emotional stuff that they were really going for. And I was it I think I saw it like at a time specifically when I needed to, honestly. Like it was like tackling some stuff I was going through, and I know it's like, oh, you young kids and your depression nowadays, but like there's something there, and like it really turned into something like special by the end, where it's like, oh, this is a unique climax, and I think it's doing something different for a Marvel movie. I just wish it kind of came more into its own. And with this one, it is kind of the opposite. I was like, I was into them doing something different, and then like the more it went on, the more you just kind of realize that, yeah, it's honestly not doing that much different, and it's kind of doing a little bit less than the best of these MCU movies, because you just don't have that strong of a basis of these characters like you would like a Captain America or an Iron Man. Like people fondly remember like even kind of the weaker origin movies like Ant-Man, for example, because they do a really good job getting you into these characters' plights and stuff, and this was just like it was as interesting as a description of this plot. And yeah, I have to admit, like, credit where credit is due, it's the most competent Fantastic Four movie, just out of like, yeah, they definitely learned from I would fucking hope they learned from all their mistakes of the previous iterations. But like I just kind of tell people every time I talk about this, I kind of preferred the entertaining embarrassment of those last ones than the boring competence of this one. So I'm giving this one a fantastic 5 out of 10, kind of a low 5.
Yeah, and I'm really just in the same boat. Just nothing much to chew on. Just completely competent, normal, boring, plain donut of a movie where I was able to, as a big comic book fan, just kind of geek out at some of the cool comic stuff I get to see live action finally. But other than that, really, I couldn't really get too much out of this. Yeah, I give it a 5 out of 10. The best part was the Doom tease at the end. That was cool. That's it. No 90210 either. What the fuck?
I was gonna say, can I talk about the Doom teaser, or would that be too spoilery? Even though we mentioned it. Yeah. There's a theory, and I don't know if this is like do you want to hear a theory or?
Yeah, go for
it. Okay. Basically, I heard Doctor Doom is like disfigured in the comics. Is that's why he wears the mask? Right. Okay. Yeah. And they cast Robert Downey, and they would want to probably use his face if they're casting him, I feel like. So people are thinking that scene is Franklin healing his face. I'm like, I think you're onto something there, because I feel like they're going to want to show his face.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting, but then that would kind of like strike a big X off like one of his biggest character traits is that disfigurement,
the one thing, the reason he wears the mask.
Yeah, and then it's just like, oh, he doesn't have to wear it anymore, so we can see RDJ's fucking face all the time. And it's like, damn, man. And in some iterations, it's like heavy scarring, and sometimes it's just like a cut on his chin or his face or something little like that. But that goes a long way into building a character. Like he's just so insecure that just one mark on his face makes him like cover up his whole body. So you take that away, it's just like, cool, I guess we get Robert Downey again. But
I wouldn't put it against Marvel. I mean,
they're
like, oh, Robert Downey's back. We gotta show his face. But yeah, who knows?
Paid him $5 million. I guess you gotta see his fucking face.
The worst part about this, if he truly isn't scarred, or even like scarred enough to where you can like tell that it's Robert Downey Jr., they will be making the mistake that they smartly avoided in the original Iron Man, where they were almost going to get Tom Cruise, but either him or his management or the studio were like, could we make the mask like transparent so like everyone can tell it's Tom Cruise? It's like that's not cool. It's
It defeats the
let
purpose.
him look like the character.
Yeah, hopefully not, but I guess we'll see.
They're still writing that movie. They're still writing it.
That's
What do they
crazy.
think they're gonna accomplish with
I mean,
this?
I think I've said this before. It just blows my mind. There's 50, 60 years of material you can use that's perfectly laid out for you, and they're just like, nah, we don't gotta use that. Let's do our own thing. It's just like, obviously your own thing doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
And it's just...
I mean, I'm not
boggles
surprised.
the mind.
Don't they do that thing where they like shoot scenes when they have like no script that like for the previs shots or something like that, and then they like, I don't know. I've heard they do that. I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, they just cover the seams.
Yeah.
They just cover the seams better than Four Stick, where it's like, you know, they can paint over it a little bit better, but that's basically, you know, figuring it out as they go along. You know, you either die, you know, respected and competent at Endgame, or you live long enough to see yourself flounder around like the DCEU, and then watch DC figure out finally how to do what Marvel did. But you know, we'll see. I'm speaking a little too soon. You know, they still have plenty of time to fuck it up.
Yeah, and I'm also seeing all those, like, right now, like the internet and Twitter's just blowing up over those Spider-Man set photos, and I want to get excited, but I just can't. I literally can't. I just have no faith in them anymore, really, to make something like interesting or just something that at least as third, like, compelling as like the comics are, or even like some of the like animated stuff. It's just like, okay, I'll go see it, but you know, not a whole lot of faith, really.
Yeah, it's like finally he looks like Spider-Man. It's like, all right.
Oh, finally, after 3 movies in 10 fucking years, he finally looks like halfway like Spider-Man. Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do with Spider-Man specifically. I mean, I don't know if they're going for like a Harry Potter thing where you're kind of seeing him grow into an adult, which can potentially be interesting, but just like, I mean, at what, you know, end goal? Again, that's the biggest problem with these. You know, where's this? If you hadn't made it such a big deal to, like, you know, be excited for where it's leading, then you kind of just kneecap everything because you can't focus on what you're doing now in a way that's like more concise. Though this movie is at least, you know, a lot more concise than most of the MCU movies recently. But it's just like, man, is that it? Is that all we're looking forward to? Is just that he looks like Spider-Man after like 10 years of like awful costumes, even though they nailed it the first introduction of his
first time
of his suit. Like, whatever. All right.
But anyways,
well, let's get into some real cinema.
so good movie, a real
Cinema.
movie. Cinema.
I could hear you throwing your hands up.
I did, though. I did.
I'm gonna try to remember to flash that image on the YouTube version.
Oh, hell yeah.
Anyways,
do you want me to introduce it since it was my pick? Or?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I picked Exotica from 1994, which I feel, I mean, just judging by Letterboxd standards, is a little bit underseen, where it has like 42K views. And I'm like, I think this has the properties to be something that, like, if it was released nowadays, most people on the platform who are active would probably see. But this is by Atom Egoyan, and he also wrote it. And it's from 1994. Yeah, I mean, it's a movie about a bunch of people linked by a strip club. So let's get into, I mean, I want to hear what y'all thought first before I get into mine, unless you want me to start.
I don't
you want
mind.
to go, Daniel?
Yeah, I really like how because you took a gander at our current kind of lineup we have with the previous discussions, and I think you chose a really good one that fits the vibe. I'm trying to break free of it a little bit. I'm trying to like shake it up because like there's a lot of noir in there, and that's definitely more on our end, just because like it's really what I'm into right now.
Sorry.
Kind of no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like that's like something I need to do, but like that's because I love this genre. And I was like this pick was just like so cool because like it was structured like a detective story, but with no one really like trying to investigate anything. It's like the way it reveals information from like starting off pretty like oh no, am I gonna be this lost throughout it? And then like kind of like just like going along with it like long enough, it was like, okay, yeah, this is like as it progressed, it got more and more just like entrancing the way it like drip fed information, and I really loved how well it like kind of fits into this aesthetic. We also talked about Magnolia before. There's kind of a lot of that going on here where it's like really like you seemingly disconnected characters that all have like kind of like a tangential relationship with each other until like people kind of like fully interact at like, you know, crucial moments. I really like how that, not quite fate, but like these interactions that they didn't even know that they had between each other was like beginning to unravel, and like, you know, these obsessive kind of like habits that they're you know, attracted to, or like bringing them all together in this weird way that's like I don't want to say it like gives them like full closure, but I feel like they're kind of like again, like I love that line where it's like, you know, this place is here for your entertainment. It's not, you know, it's not meant to fix things, and how it kind of like is like getting there without it like really being this kind of sappy like, oh, like we all learned a big lesson at the end. You know, it ends very like, you know, gut wrenching, hauntingly, and I really want to hear what you guys thought, especially of that ending, because I have a couple ideas, and they might be a little surface level, but like Adrian, what did you think about it?
Well, I thought it was great, like you said, just the unraveling of this mystery, and I was kind of in the same boat you were. It was like, okay, where's this going? I'm not understanding what's happening, but then kind of things start to line up, you know, and the more things get spoken about, and it, I guess not like overtly explained, but you can see like what's happening, you know. They're basically teaching you about these people's lives and how they kind of intersect, and basically what they're all kind of doing there, which is like I said, I mentioned earlier how it's kind of similar to Y Tu Mama Tambien, but like Y Tu Mama Tambien was a lot more overt in its sexual themes. Like it's very much about just like sex straight up, and this is more about, it's kind of in the name, like eroticism, like in the feelings you get like with somebody, the erotic feelings you get, not necessarily having sex, but like this is basically like Tease the movie because everyone's just like teasing each other, like and then there's that great like parallel with the tax guy where he goes to the strip club, and that's what he's doing, is basically just kind of like teasing himself. And then you have the pet shop owner guy, who's also kind of doing the same thing, but in a less like kind of vulgar way, where he's just taking these guys into this opera just to like not even really watch the opera, just to like be with them and be around them, and kind of like a fisherman, you know, catch release type thing, where he just like, gets somebody to like kind of get with, and then just kind of lets them go most of the time. But yeah, I thought this is really great, and especially in like writing, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I feel like this is like, it's you know, I'll warn any please listeners, go watch this movie. I might get into some light spoilers and things like that, but I feel like it, you mentioned tease, it's almost a tease of this being this like erotic, like where you would expect, oh, you know, just people getting like sexual pleasure and things like that, but it's all these people who are trying to connect with other people, and a lot of times sex is like almost a veil of how these people connect, but in the end they're just like people who are broken, who don't have connection, and a lot of times the backdrop is these, a strip club or the thought of like hooking up or things like that, but really they're just trying to fill that emptiness in their life. And I also think it's a movie that has like you have these preconceived notions, again almost playing into, like I said, I thought it was going to be more about just the erotic sensations of sex when I first saw it, but it wasn't. Where you have that scene from the opening, that line from the opening, that's you have to ask yourself what brought the person to this point, what was seen in his face, his manner that channeled him here. That's said by the inspector. And that's kind of it, because you have these preconceived notions about these characters, and as their stories like play out, it's like, oh wait, this means this. Like, I thought I think it's Bruce Greenwood is the actor. I thought his character was like a pedophile, taking these young girls out, but it's literally that he's just a broken person who was like wrongly accused for killing his daughter, and this other character's linked to that with this as they call her, the jailbait stripper. And this is a person that was like used to babysit his daughter, and it's like him trying to recapture those feelings he had when his daughter was still alive, driving his niece home, and also driving this driving his niece home, which he relives through driving driving the babysitter home, which he relives through driving a niece home, and having the connection with the babysitter still while she's a stripper now. And I love that about the movie, how it just kind of, it plays on our expectations on what we think, and all is about how people connect in this seedy underworld, I guess you could say. I absolutely love this film. Like, this is one of my favorite scripts out there. It's not exactly like the most flashy directed movie, but I do think it's beautifully directed on how they move the camera, and there's a lot of longer takes, and its framing is very purposeful. And I think it uses a great limited number of locations in a very interesting way, and you kind of figure out like the layout of the strip club. So yeah, I love this movie, especially on a script level, but I think it's great in other departments. I love the music too. The music is, the main theme is really just great, and I love how it plays out in the final scene especially. Great movie, and I want to hear more of what y'all think about it.
Yeah, really, like, I totally agree with the we were just talking about it in Fantastic Four. The use of locations very limited here, but they just use them very well, and you get a good layout of every location in a way where it's like, you're interested in discovering more things, like the gun or the voyeuristic kind of one-way window that's also used in the beginning in a different location. It's all about like this it felt kind of like prolific, obviously unattended, but like, I don't know if prolific is the right word, prophetic maybe, regarding technology, and like that disconnect about like, you kind of want these connections, but like you can never regain them in the same way that you used to have them. There's this really depressing scene from what's this movie called? Private Chat.
PVT.
So yeah, in that movie, one of the most like gut-wrenching scenes, even though it's not like emotional in the way that it like makes you cry, but just like where things have gone nowadays, is the main two characters are about to have sex. It's this guy that he's been gooning himself to like the whole movie. He's about to actually have sex with this girl, and he can't get aroused, and then she does this thing where she's like, okay, just imagine this line between us, and then the movie ends with both of them like masturbating to each other, and that's like this really sad, like I've heard like in the early like years of like when the term gooning was like being introduced in like the 20s, there were like people who considered themselves pornosexuals, where it's like they can't get aroused unless they're they have that very specific disconnect. And well, it's a bit different here because he's going more for like this relationship, because like he lost like these extremely important people in his life. He's not really looking for sex, but like kind of how it's found through this environment and how it's like a it's a premium for relationships. Yeah, it's just like, nuts to like go back to these kinds of movies and realize all these technological problems that are more obvious now have been going on this whole time. So that really spoke to me in this movie.
Yeah, and one of my favorite parts is just the big, just reincorporation of everything. And I forget who said this, but someone like famous quote is, "Oh, if you're writing a script, if you introduce a gun in Act 1, you better use it by Act 3." And it's just stuff like that throughout the whole movie, where you're talking about the gun, or when they kind of mention the mirrors, and that's kind of used with I forget his name, the DJ guy, and how he's kind of overlooking this girl and trying to kind of just not really protect her, I guess, but more just kind of hover over her and make sure she's still, like, I guess, connected with him, and how the mirrors are used. So basically that's what he's doing, just spying on her and like watching her and like hovering over her. Or even like they show his brother in the wheelchair, and then don't mention the car crash till near basically the end of the movie, and you make those connections in your head. And I just love the script. Like you said, the script is so good and so well written, and
it's very tight,
focused, and very everything was very purposeful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I, things like I didn't even notice things until it plays out later. Like, I didn't notice the brother was in the wheelchair, and it's like, okay, why? Like, they have that scene about the niece asking, okay, like, what's up with you and my dad? Like,
yeah.
There's that great quote where they're talking about like, oh, sometimes, like, it's basically saying like sometimes people have like things between them, and like their demeanor could like get in the way of like connecting with each other. And then it plays out and it's like, oh shit, like his brother was going doing things with like his wife and stuff. And I love how that stuff plays out, and there's multiple moments of that in the movie where you have these preconceived notions and they're just like, wait, this is where this is going, and how it disperses information. Like, I love how they intercut the scenes of the stripper girl that they focus the most on and the club owner, and like they start out with this like innocent like friendship looking for the lost daughter, and just seeing how that like has devolved into this fucked up like relationship where he's like controlling her at this club basically. And yeah, I really do love how it uses each of its characters, and I feel like every one of its characters are very memorable. Like, even for like the 90s, like it had a great depiction of like a gay guy in it, like I feel like, and not that there isn't like bad movies around that time. There was some good art ones that had good gay representation, but I was like, oh yeah, like this is a very mature representation of a gay person here. So yeah, I love this movie, and I think it's just like my favorite script. And I've been like studying the script, and as I write more of my script, I'm like, okay, let's look back at the Exotica script,
Yeah,
how Egoyan like masterclass like all these connections and everything. And I do love a movie like you all mentioned Magnolia, where we have all these different characters. It's like, how do these people connect, and by the end it's like, oh shit, like this character's interlocked with this character's interlocked with this, and it all makes sense, like a pieces of a puzzle piece. But or pieces of a puzzle.
Like even the small thing where one thing I really liked was the last guy the gay guy gets with the pet shop owner ends up being the guy they were training in the beginning.
Yeah,
that was like watching him. And even something like small like that gets reincorporated is so, to me, just so like genius. It's so simple and ends up being important because he steals his like fucking macaw eggs or whatever they were, like parrot eggs.
Yeah.
Which again connects to why he's around Bruce Greenwood's character, because he's getting tax audited because he has all this income that they don't know what's like coming from, and they suspect him of this already. And again, it just wastes no time with like anything, not a word of dialogue, not a character, not anything, and it all just used so purposefully.
Yeah, and all used for, again, the story of like people who like have like these unconventional connections and are just looking for like these lost relationships and these like unfulfilled relationships that most of the time they once had, you know.
And the strip club is like a perfect setting for that. I think it's a place where you could say just broken people go to get something that they can't really get in real life, which is like you know, sex, or just, you know, the sexual pleasure. And even like the girl, the main stripper, who's not really seen very well in the strip club, like there's not a lot of guys wanting her. She has this one relationship where it just makes her feel, and that comes in at the end when they kind of explain their relationship. She makes her feel important, makes her feel like loved almost.
Yeah. And yeah, it's also like they have that whole angle where she's like infantilized and like by the, you know, the strip club owner, and I almost think that plays into their relationship, you know, how they first met and everything there, and how he still wants to see her as this innocent person while also like exploiting her. And I thought that was very interesting as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's, and that almost reflects the relationship that like Bruce Greenwood has with like the niece as well. And like it's, I don't know, I love the parallels in this movie.
Yeah. And it's been like 5 minutes. I forgot who mentioned it, but the like I really thought he was doing something with the niece.
Yeah.
Just the way they talked about it, and the way he, like, even when they were like, I almost thought that was like a breakup scene, like, oh, we can't do this anymore, like this is like I'm trying to remember the exact wording, but he words it like he's having like an affair, or like just like molesting this little girl.
Yeah.
But it's not really. It's this kind of like what you said. This relationship he's just using to kind of stay in the place that he was in with his, you know, his daughter and his wife, to pretend that they're still home, pretend that they're still around, and to just redirect from facing the reality.
Yeah, it was reminding me a lot of Memento, where he has that scene with the prostitute, and he's just like pretend you own these objects, and she's just like, whatever gets you off. And yeah, him kind of being an auditor points to like the transactional kind of subconscious thing that you know, human nature plays into without really like knowing it. It's brought to the forefront in this movie how they're expecting something from other people that like their careers kind of deliver on, but like the obsession comes from like just like, you know, I really want to feel that way again, but you just know that they're not convincing themselves anyway. Yeah, I feel like yeah, that car scene where he's talking about baggage with her, I kind of like thought about relationships in my life where it's like, because like I have plenty of people that I'm like fully comfortable around, and like, you know, it's just not the type of shit that you want to like be on the back burner. Like, you have to talk about this stuff to someone. You can't just like you know, have these like mannequin kind of relationships. The contrast at the end where like you see how he was before you know, he was going to the Exotica was really rough. Like the kind of 180 of his character, he just like knew.
I know, it's such a different, like, I love, I think his performance is the best in the movie, and it's like such a contrast. Like the final scene is like my favorite scene, and just like seeing where he's at like throughout, and he has different demeanors, because he has how he is at the strip club, but then he also has how he is as an auditor, where he's like abusing his power like to kind of blackmail people into doing stuff for him, like. And I find that so interesting, like those three different demeanors that he has going on, you know. So.
Yeah, and just the difference in the way he looks. Like, he's so cleaned up and good looking, like, and then you get to where he is now, and he's so rough and has like the stubble, and just looks like a broken dude. Like, guy's been seen some shit.
Yeah, I really want to talk about that ending. What do you guys think was going on back there, because I watched this like 1.5 times where I saw it normally, and then I kind of had it in the background just to kind of listen to it, because some movies have gotten like a lot better for me when I like recontextualize it after knowing where it was going. And there's a part where they're talking at the end. He's talking to Christina when she was younger, and she's talking about like, yeah, you know, it's great. I feel like I can, you know, I can talk to your daughter, and she listens to me. I feel like that was kind of implying that Christina's dad killed Francis's daughter for listening to Christina, and how like she probably talked about this stuff with her, and he felt like he was gonna get caught for abusing her. What do you guys think of that?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh my god.
Yeah, me neither.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, I did not think about that.
I thought of it more as just a kind of explanation of why they do what they're doing, why they had the relationship that they had, especially because you kind of see why Bruce Greenwood's character is doing it, but you don't really see why the stripper girl is also kind of engaging in this like role play-esque. And I feel like the ending just like kind of gives that reason. It's that she feels just unimportant to everybody and not really seen, and this and again that reflection of just how she's seen also as a stripper, that she's not very, no one really wants her to dance with her or like have her come to their table. It's really only him, and she makes her feel good about themselves, really.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards Adrian's interpretation of it, but I mean that's a very interesting theory, Daniel. Yeah. I didn't think about that. But yeah, I do love that ending though, and I love how it's shot too, just like her like walking through like the pathway to the house with the two like trees, like perfectly like symmetrical, like that's just a really great shot to end on. And again, I love the music in that scene. And again, great music throughout, but I also love the music when they're like showing the scenes of them like searching for the body. Like the track in there is beautiful.
Yeah.
And even like some of the, at least I think it's licensed music, like when she comes out and it's like this kind of like erotic song, like, yeah baby, I'm let's get together. And,
which one everybody knows.
Yeah. I can finally replace Justice League for botching that song, and I'll associate it with this instead of that.
Yeah. I can't believe I didn't talk about that part, because yeah, I love that song, and honestly I loved it in Justice League too. Before I do the original Leonard Cohen version, which is the one in here, I love that. That's I always say it, the only good thing, I always say in my head because I would not admit this, but the only good thing from Justice League is that interpretation of Everybody Knows. I don't think they botched it. I love that version by like Seafried, or I don't know what the fuck the singer's name is, but this used it way better. And it's the original version, which is a contrast from what I've heard in Justice League, and I fell in love with this version, and now I listen to them back to back. But yeah, I love the use of Everybody Knows in that scene, which is also like a scene that is very uncomfortable, because again, they're like, oh, this schoolgirl, jailbait, and like she's doing this dance and everything, and it's definitely a movie that makes you feel uncomfortable, but I think that's to its advantage and plays into its themes, and I love movies that make me feel uncomfortable. So
yeah, it's kind of that Zack Snyder thing, talking about the song, where it's like, yeah, Hallelujah is a fantastic song, but like that goddamn sex scene in Watchmen, it's just like, oh my, and the Justice League Snyder Cut trailer too, with that song, it's just like, man, just oh my god,
you're giving me like Vietnam flashbacks. I completely forgot both of those songs were in that movie, and I'm just, damn, what the
fuck. He's awful at implementing really good songs into his movies for the most part. I think that that opening to Watchmen, at least the opening credits with that Bob Dylan song, especially since like Bob Dylan is so tied into the original Watchmen comic. I think, but for the most part, he fails. But like that was, that's a pretty good usage of one. Points for that. But yeah, anyways.
I still haven't seen Watchmen. But yeah,
I've only seen that.
I don't know
like,
if it's good.
I've seen the thing with that is that like I've seen the clips from that movie. I was so obsessed with that movie, even though I couldn't see it as a kid. I've basically seen it by now. I love that comic.
That's me with the Final Destination movies, but yeah.
Yeah, I've read the comic like many times by now. But at this point in my life, I'm kind of just like disinterested because I kind of understand like, oh, yeah, I can like I'm more used to the like Snyderisms nowadays, but that I'm not as interested in the movie. But like, I'm gonna try to realign this. Great use of the song here. I think it works really well with the kind of like infidelity, everyone knows this is kind of like how the world works. I'm well aware of the basis of our relationship, but just like what's that quote from Slaughterhouse-Five, so it goes. Yeah, that really does a good job at like kind of encapsulating the themes of this movie really well in a way that's not just like, ooh, this is kind of sultry sounding.
But yeah, I'm curious what y'all would rate this one.
I would say that like, yeah, it is very deserving of a second watch. I'm glad I did before talking about it. I feel like I would I had a lot more clarity on like how I felt talking about it. Yeah, it's certainly something that I want to see more of this director's work.
Well, I heard his new stuff is not good, so unfortunately,
there's got to be like
but I will
some
say,
other thing.
I will say no, because there's another amazing movie he made called The Sweet Hereafter, which I rewatched recently too, and definitely check out The Sweet Hereafter. I kind of wanted to do a double feature of them, but yeah, definitely if you like this it's very much like The Sweet Hereafter in some ways, but another amazing movie. I do like this one a little bit more though, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah, really good characters. I always love Elias Koteas, Casey Jones from the Ninja Turtles movie when he shows up.
No way.
Yeah, I think he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at his face right now, and I'm like, damn, yeah, you're fucking right. Goddamn.
I'll be honest, I didn't recognize like anybody in this movie except like like they have, I think Sarah Polley and like Arsene Kanjian, both of them are in like The Sweet Hereafter, so I'm like, oh, he has like a run of actors that he uses throughout these. But yeah, that's funny that they were in the TMNT movie.
Yeah, no, I didn't either, but I did mistake the main stripper girl. I thought she was the woman from Blade Runner and like the new John Wick movie. She looks kind of similar to how she looks, at least in the poster that I'm looking at right here.
Okay. What the what's her name? Ana de Armas?
I think so. Yes.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, Bruce Greenwood too. Really, really interesting character. I'm not sure how I felt about that one conversation, even though there's like really good dialogue in it and like it's super insightful about like the baggage that people just kind of swallow to live with each other. I just feel like that's like kind of it was sort of solidified on my second watch, like just like not entirely sure how this the niece character was like kind of indulging him for that long, because she's not in the same boat as Christina, where it's like that is her job and she has like a history with him. It's more like, I don't know,
I think she was just curious about like her dad, right? And why her dad, or if we're talking about the same thing, why her dad isn't like feels like she doesn't like being around her dad when her uncle's around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I guess there's like kind of an implied like, it's just like when they start out, he kind of they do have that discussion where it's like, you don't talk to me as much as you used to, so like maybe I guess there's like a bit of like comfortability that is dwindling. It's just like he comes off so like scary in that scene to her when he's just,
the music definitely adds to it too, because the score track there is like pretty intense.
They do this really good like moment. low bellowing whenever he gets into like one of his monologues, so it's like it was a little too effective. I'm sure if I didn't hear that, I guess I could like accept it a little bit more as far as like a like why aren't you running type situation. You know, he again, like he isn't actually abusing her. He just has these like kind of weird needs that and yeah, towards the end he is like, he does acknowledge like, yeah, if you want this to stop, I see how much you've done for me already, that it's like that I'm okay with you not having to babysit my empty house anymore. And there are a couple things also that not entirely sure how important they were. Maybe they like symbolize something, but like kind of the whole animal smuggling thing, I kind of just like I totally forgot about that like at the point where that stopped in the movie, and I was like, oh, that's just kind of done. So I'm,
you don't give them you don't see him get his eggs back, man.
Yeah.
I was wondering if he was gonna get them back or not, but
so yeah, I'm curious to see what that like kind of means in the mise en scene, I guess, if I'm saying that right. But yeah, as for now, I think it's like, I think for what it's doing, it's like a solid 8 out of 10. And yeah,
nice.
It has a hell of a lot of like inspiring filmmaking that really hammers home like, yeah, you have an idea, and like you don't need these like huge like you know, you don't need it to lead to like a gunfight at the end, you know. It's like this really I think it's just like I don't know if they built that location, but like that's just a really good set to like explore. And it's definitely not because it's a strip club. I think it's just like legitimately interesting, and like, you know, the most interesting stuff is just like when they're talking or when they're in the bathroom, right? Like it's, you know,
and they have good set design on it. You know?
Yeah, it's really really cool the way it's like set up.
It definitely, like, you know, it's called Exotica, and it definitely like fits that title. Like, you know, it's like, okay, yeah,
not only being a strip club, but also being kind of like jungle themed. You know, like exotic, like animals and places. You know,
and the music kind of has that flair too. You know, like I think it's a very well thought out movie on its like stylistic end. But
and that's what I like just most about it is just how well thought out everything is, and how like I keep saying, just purposeful everything. Nothing seems wasted. Not one character seems like they really shouldn't be there. And I was just so interested in where everything was. That's probably my biggest gripe. It's just the beginning. It was a bit hard to get into because you're just like, what the fuck's going on? Like, and it's kind of just them showing him what he's doing in his daily life, and you're just like, where's this going? But it ends up being very satisfying. And like you said earlier, it's not very flashy, and there's not a whole lot of like amazing shots I can think of off the top of my head. But I was just the script really just makes up for that, in my opinion. And I'd probably go with Daniel. I'd give it a solid 8.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, when I first saw it, I gave it an 8. But I've seen it 2 more times since. I rewatched it sometime last year, which is crazy because rarely do I watch a movie in 1 year and then watch it again. That isn't like a movie in theaters. And I did that last year, and then I watched it a 3rd time this year. So I honestly give it a 9. I love this movie so much. My only hang-ups would be, I mean, I don't feel bored in the first, you know, act like y'all did, but I will admit, like, I tried watching this back in like 2022, 2023, and I got bored in the first 10 minutes and then I quit. So I'm glad I gave it another shot, honestly. Yeah. And now, since I know, I think where everything's heading, it doesn't bore me or anything like that. And yeah, I love the pacing on this as well. Tight 100 minutes. But yeah, my only hang-ups would be like that acting sometimes is like, it's just kind of like, sometimes the line delivery is a little bit like straightforward than I would hope. But I still think Bruce Greenwood is like the best performance in here. But that's not like a big problem at all in terms of like compared to so many other movies that have like poor line delivery or things like that. And yeah, I also don't love, I mean, I don't know, I didn't have too much of a problem with it this time, but like, I don't love like the second bathroom scene where it's like, okay, so the exotic smuggler, like, he's peeing on the toilet and he still has a guy on like the call, the earpiece. Like,
Yeah.
but this could have been a little bit more thought out, and like, the speaking to convincing people through the like bathroom stalls. But it's a very small gripe. So yeah, I love this movie. 9 out of 10 for me. And again, if you like this movie, definitely check out The Sweet Hereafter. I saw another movie from Atom Egoyan, and it was Speaking Parts or something like that, and I didn't really like it, and that was like the one before these two. But yeah, this has become one of my like top 50 and one of my favorite movies that I've seen in the past 2 years. So yeah, love this movie, and thank you all for watching it. I'm glad you all enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, very much. Thank you for recommending it. Yeah.
Excellent
no problem.
choice. And I guess I kind of want to clarify, as far as the beginning goes, like, it was more intimidating just like in the first watch, where it's like
Yeah,
you
it's
cut to
definitely
the
the first
field.
watch like problem. I feel like I wouldn't have that problem if I were to watch it again.
Yeah, where it's
Yeah.
like that initial cut to the field, I was like, oh shit, is it because like, as much as I love like David Lynch, there was like a hell of a lot of that type of kind of like out of context stuff from like Fire Walk with Me, for example, where it's just like, okay, you have to nail this if you want to do it like this. But on my second watch, I was just like, okay, no, this is going somewhere. And even I love kind of the transitionary editing between, like, it starts on Eric, I believe, the DJ, and then it ends on Francis, the dad, widower character, where it's like, you kind of are already setting up that this event is like connecting them, and it's kind of cool how, like, yeah, it really rewards rewatches, and I love how it's just able to like bring it all together like that.
Yeah, I to bounce off what you just said, that I didn't shout out the editing, but yeah, again, great editing. Not only is it very tight and it feels like every scene's purposeful, but great like shot composition. And then what was I gonna say? It proves its worthiness when you see it, because every scene is like important. It feels like, and every piece of dialogue plays into this bigger theme and to these just character interactions on like a narrative level. And yeah, I could see, like, you expect for those first like act, like, you're like, oh wait, this is just going to be pointless, like just kind of like scenery building or to make it feel more deep than it is. But when you finish the movie, it's like, oh shit, like that shit all links together. And I do think this is a great movie on rewatch personally. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely gonna need to rewatch this one at some point.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Whose turn is it to recommend something?
It is yours.
Oh, okay.
Daniel-san.
Yeah. I was kind of chewing on it, looking at my watch list, thinking about what I wanted to do next, and this was something I wanted to do for quite a while, especially at the beginning of this year. I finished Twin Peaks, and I know I said I wanted to branch out, but just talking about this movie, I still want noir shit, so I'm recommending yet another kind of mystery-ish looking thriller with Kyle MacLachlan. I'm very excited to see what he's been up to outside of Twin Peaks in that era especially, and it is a movie called The Hidden from 1987, directed by Jack Shoulder.
I haven't heard about this one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright,
I'm up
okay.
for another just completely blind watch. This was a very good blind watch. I'm glad I didn't look at anything before Exotica, and
Hell yeah.
and yeah, I'm looking forward to see what kind of stuff that this kind of brings to the table, because it seems really under the radar, but like still kind of scratching whatever itch was being delivered through Twin Peaks at the time. It was so much to the point where he specifically didn't want to be in that much of like Fire Walk with Me at the time, Kyle MacLachlan, because he didn't want to be like pigeonholed into like the detective guy. And this is what he was doing before Twin Peaks, so I'm wondering what kind of sold David Lynch on like that casting. I'm sure it'll be very very interesting.
Was this before Blue Velvet?
It was right after, actually. So like he was doing like sleuth stuff for like quite a while during that era.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And I'm interested to hear what you all think if you ever see The Sweet Hereafter, because again, great movie. same director.
Okay, no, I added it to my watch list actually just now, and I
Yes.
definitely, after seeing this, is definitely up for watching more of this director stuff.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, and if you want, I know people probably listening to this already probably know who you are, but if you want to give like your socials and where people can find you at.
Sounds good. So my Lego channel is Just Too Good, which is where I'm most active, as well as Letterbox is Just Too Good, where I'm also most active. Warning, my movie takes are uncouth. I always get complaints. I mean, I just want to be honest with my experiences or whatever. And if you want to hear more in-depth movie takes, my film channel is Just To Film. So I will be a lot more active on that too. Not that I'm not active now, but very active in like a month, because I'm going to be going to Toronto International Film Festival, and I'm so excited. And then I'm doing New York Film Festival. Thank you. Yeah. I'm so hyped for those, and I can't freaking wait. So go check those out. Just To Film on YouTube, Just Too Good on Letterboxd, and Just Too Good on YouTube. So yeah, but thank you all so much for having me on, and it's great to be able to talk about Exotica, and I had a lot of fun on this show.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was a very, very good conversation, I think.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I had a lot of fun, and you all had great insight on the movie and on Fantastic Four, but yeah.
Fantastic Four!
Exactly.
Yeah, what would made that better is if Galactus Fantastic Vored everyone, because, they kind of said
that. Look at you, dropping those Vor. Yeah.
I really think that would have
Nice.
upped the ante.
Well, I didn't expect that from you. That's great.
He was trying to. That was like the plot of the movie,
Yeah.
But yeah,
that was a good one.
Something I do want to try to do more at the end of these episodes. You can find me, Move Mantis, on Instagram. I post all my current movie reviews. If I don't talk about it on here, I'm probably posting a review on there. And you can find us, the podcast, on Twitter and YouTube.
Nice.
Yep. And I believe that'll be it from us. So
yeah,
thank you again.
See ya.
Thank you again,
See ya.
Sarah, for joining us.
Yes,
no problem.
thank you.
It's so much fun. Oh my gosh, yeah, thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.